Brian, tell me what the mob was like back in 2009, starting up.
Uh, I remember when we very first opened, it was October 2nd, 2009. We didn't have track lights installed yet. I mean, it was still pretty raw space. We had, the walls were tan, the floors were tan, fluorescent lighting through the place, no track light, no spotlights. It was just the best advice I got before I opened was open as soon as you can. Don't wait till you think it's perfect or ready for everybody to see. And that was probably the best advice I received opening up Mod, because there's still works in progress. Like there's always something upgrading or changing or adding or tearing out. Like there's always something changing. So
Who were your first artists?
Back then, we used to represent artists through Boom Art. It was the service we'd represent artists through, put them in high traffic commercial locations that they could get exposure, and also we could put price tags on their art to try to sell it. So I had a handful of artists I was representing at that time that I could probably, and there was only the front gallery. There was no back gallery yet, and the front gallery wasn't even all the way developed. There was no bathrooms yet. So pretty much we had the front, the main wall was our showing wall. So we could do a show with one artist pretty easy. And that's kind of how we got our started. We just would have a featured artist that was represented through Boom Art would come and do their showing at Mod. And then we would change their show here to another location. It was just kind of like their artwork was on tour, basically. It was just going from location to location and hopefully selling a piece here and there along the way. I'm trying to think. I don't even think we had the paneling up on the front wall yet. I think it was just exposed studs. It was pretty primitive when we first started. Like I said, it was all tan color, everything. But the traffic was nowhere near what it is today. Like, we didn't keep track of attendance numbers back then, but I'm guessing if we had 150 people, that was a great night back then. Now that's within the first hour that we open up, like, hopefully, like, unless it's a slow start. But yeah, it's changed and grown and expanded, and Mod is just, I feel lucky and fortunate that we've been able to keep stride with the rate of the expansion of the Crossroads, not only First Fridays, but just the commercial development in the Crossroads. Like, there was a time that we could have, and then you never say never, but there was a time that we could have easily been swallowed up by developers, and Mod Gallery wouldn't be here today. And in fact, over the last year and a half, like, there was some questionable times throughout COVID that I was just fearful that we weren't going to make it onto the other side. But thank God we're still here, and so far it's been the best year we've ever had. So
What year did you open up the Backdoor Gallery or Backdoor Studio?
I want to say it was 2011. I think it was 2011, maybe late 10. But there used to be two buildings right east of Mod where the parking lot is. So, and there was a garage. The garage door was in the back as well. So you looked out the door in the back, and you couldn't see anything. You're just looking at the rear ends of two buildings in an alley. Like there was no exposure from Oak Street, or anybody driving by you'd never know that Mod was here unless you had been here. But then they tore those buildings down. They were dilapidated, and they ended up just tearing them down and making a surface parking lot out of it, which is way better use than what those buildings were at the time. But then when they tore those buildings down, I think Richard and I were having a meeting, Richard Day, and we decided that we realized the exposure we were getting from the east side on Oak Street, and how many cars drive by. That's when we decided to start working on what is now the Mod Backdoor Gallery. It was, I can't remember the exact date, but it was probably late 2010, early 2011 was the birth of the Backdoor Gallery.
When did you first meet Richard Day and how?
We talked about that like a couple months ago. We were trying to figure it out, but I think it was about 2010, and I think it was through an old friend's girlfriend. We had common friends, and they brought us together, and we hit it. Obviously we hit it off pretty good since that was 11 years ago now. So, he there was years we were working on scaffolding, painting ceilings, painting walls, moving the scaffolding set around all in the back gallery. And Richard and I were like, it was just, it was a job to us. We'd just get up and put on our paint clothes and start painting walls and ceilings, patching, a lot of patching. It's a plaster ceiling, and it was just cracked and pretty rough. And they used to repair cars in this building, so a lot of dirt and grease. We just had to clean and paint, and a lot of kills, primer painting just to cover the oil stains in the ceiling. But we prepped it for, God, it was probably a year that we were painting it. But I think we opened up before we were finished painting it. The same philosophy as the front gallery, like just open it up and keep working on it. Open it up as soon as we can and keep working on it, polishing it up on the way. And it's still, we're still working on areas in the back gallery, so it's always a work in progress. So, but
You used to have the backdoor part as a studio?
Yep, Richard studioed here for years, pretty much until we decided to start working on our liquor license and the possibility of doing food from the grill outside. Is we needed more space for prep areas and refrigerators, and we just needed more space. So that's when Richard moved his studio back to his house, and he's still, everybody saw that was here last month. He's still putting out some great work. So
What are your plans for the future?
well, just kind of keep working, developing, polishing, upgrading. I'd see within the next year we could start doing food off the grill in the back for private parties, First Fridays for sure. And then we're still pretty new with our liquor license. I think it's been 7 weeks, 8 weeks now, something like that. But it's just to the point now where I'm about finished setting up all the accounts with distributors and all the boring behind the scenes stuff, but we can start having fun and making cool cocktails for First Fridays and drink menus per event, custom drink menus per event. So it just feels like it's kind of, the hard work part, it's not over, but we've reached the first goal, which was to get the liquor license, and now it kind of gives us some freedom time-wise to, like I said, start working on the bar program and having fun with it all. And I've bartended for probably 14 years, restaurant bars, and that's the fun part for me, is creating different drinks. Just, it's just kind of the philosophy of mod, just bold and free in style. Just, it's kind of the same thing. Like, just, I mean, it's not something. If you go to mod for an event, the drinks are going to reflect what mod is all about as well. So that's the main goal.
Got a lot of great artists come through here.
Oh yeah.
Like Bill Dunn.
It's honestly, it's too many to remember and recite. But I was just looking, the pitch award. The categories have been created. The voting, I think, was active yesterday. So please vote for mod for best art gallery. We've been number 2, I think, for 6 years behind the Nelson, and they should be a separate category for institutional and privately owned galleries. But I'll take number 2 behind the Nelson anytime. But just hopefully maybe this year is the year we actually win best art gallery instead of competing with a monster like the Nelson, which, I mean, they're awesome, but they just should be in a separate category themselves. But so we've had so many great artists come through mod, I can't even recall, but seeing the nominations for the best of and the pitch, it's kind of brought back old memories, just artists that have shown here in the past. And what I enjoy, it makes me the happiest when a new artist comes into mod is just giving them the tools, the motivation they need to succeed and to take their art where they want it to take them, or where they want to take their art in their life. That's probably the most rewarding part to me, is just helping new artists. Yeah. I mean, there's been so many artists that have started here that, they're years into it, and hopefully all still enjoy it a lot and very successful. So in the years of developing the Backdoor Gallery, we almost immediately started doing a separate stage, if you will, outside, where we'd have bands play, DJs play, same format we're doing now. But unfortunately at that time, our stage was cracked concrete with grass growing through it. And it was a tripping hazard more than a flat surface. So I think it was 2014. We had partnered up with my friend. They were developing the building next door. And Chad Taylor, he was working on the building next door with Abbott Properties. And he asked if we wanted to redo our back patio. I'm just like, yeah, definitely. So we just did it at the same time they were doing theirs to cut our costs down. So just having a level, fresh, new concrete surface just kind of was the seed that was planted that has just kind of continually grown our outdoor space. And I think the year after that, we built the cantina, the outdoor bar, which we're still working on, and eventually we'll have, hopefully next year sometime, we'll have our license to sell food off the grill, so the cantina can provide more during events we have. It's been cool just to see that area grow and expand and get polished and finished, and where people can actually play and enjoy music without fear of tripping over broken concrete.
Gone from 150 people to thousands.
Yeah, we stopped counting. I think it was October of 2019. I think that was the last date we counted. We used to just count for marketing purposes, but we'd have a clicker at the front bar and a clicker at the back bar. So whatever way you came through, we got your head count. But that month, throughout first Friday in October 2019, we had over 5,500 people came through on that day, and that was the biggest day. I mean, we've had bigger days since then. I have no idea numbers wise. Like this year, like I think it definitely puts a shadow on those numbers, but I have no idea what numbers we've had since then. It's a good problem. We've just been too busy to worry about counting for attendance. But yeah, it's cool to see like what it was when we first opened. You know, you might have throughout the night maybe a couple hundred people come through, and now that's like our first hour being open. It's great for artists. It's great for a gallery owner. And honestly, for business owners in the Crossroads too. It's just First Fridays has gained so much attention, even national attention, international attention probably, that it's grown like every year since we've opened. So it's awesome. And we thank everybody for your support, and please come to our next event and definitely come see us on the First Friday. Thank you.